We finished the first month of the new year, so today I'm sitting down to share with you our January 2022 budget report and net worth update. Hey guys, I'm Marissa and welcome back to my channel. Here on my channel we talk about life and money and how you can enjoy life while still accomplishing financial goals through the use of a budget. So obviously I love budgeting and I share my household budget every single month here on YouTube. So if that sounds like something interesting to you, scroll down and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any new videos. Before we get into the budget report, I want to let you know the template that I'm using is one that you can get yourself on my shop. I will have a link to that down in the description box below. It's an instant download, works in Excel, Google Sheets, all the things. And I also have a course called the Budget Breakdown course, which walks you through everything you need to know about budgeting. We've been budgeting for the last 6 years now, and it's helped us to be able to pay off $87,000 of student loan debt, save for an emergency fund, save for a house, invest, do all the things, and still enjoy our lives. And so I share everything we've learned about budgeting and how we structure our budget and everything in that course. So it's a video course, you get lifetime access. It's at a very affordable cost of only $37. So I will have a link to that in the description box down below as well. And also the budget template comes for free with the course. So if you're interested in that, you can just check out the course. And without further ado, let's get into this budget report. So I live in Portland, Oregon area with my husband Jacob and our 20-month-old son named Peter. We are also expecting baby boy number 2 due in June. So you'll see a lot of that reflected in our budget. So we are a family of 3.5, I guess. So the first thing that we have here is our income section. We have Jacob's income and my business income, which I started labeling this as just Marissa, I guess, because this is the money that I make. But my husband Jacob is a W-2 employee. He works for a company doing marketing, and so he has his paycheck, and then I do everything here on YouTube and my online business. So I have that blocked out just for privacy for individual, but our total household income ended up being $7,959.80. So we use a zero-based budget, which means all of our income equals all of our expenses, debt, and savings, like all the money out. So now to show you where every dollar went. So first off, we have expenses. We have our tithe, African New Life, and missions. So these are all things that we're giving to. We are Christians and we believe in tithing and giving to our church and other organizations. So our tithe is to our church. African New Life, we support a couple children in Rwanda through them, and then we also support an additional missions organization. And I just have all that blocked out for privacy as well. Next we have is our mortgage, and we have that at $2,220.50. That is for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance on our mortgage. We've had our house now for 2.5 years. Next we have is our HOA. We do live in a neighborhood with a homeowners association, but I feel fine paying that for the value that we get. So $121.46. Next we have is water, sewer, and this was $93.87 this month. It's always like right around that amount. Then we have natural gas. This is what we have to heat our home with, and this month ended up being a little bit higher than I budgeted for. It's at $82.84, and our house runs on natural gas for heat and stovetop oven cooking, and then we have electricity as well that like our air conditioner runs on and any lights that we have on. But obviously natural gas is a bit higher in these colder winter months here in Portland, Oregon. Next we have is trash, and we pay our trash every other month, so this month was not a trash month. And then we have electric. So this actually ended up being $20 more than what we expected as well. We spent $60.27. And this basically is just any lights that we have on in our home, because everything else is, or anything that we have plugged in, because all of our heat is through natural gas. I feel like this is relatively low though, and we do really try to conserve energy, and every bulb that we can we've replaced with energy efficient bulbs, so we try our best to like reduce that cost for sure. Next we have is internet at $44.99 each month as the standard, and then our phones are at $115. This is for my phone and my husband Jacob's phone. Next we have is insurance, and I budgeted this to be higher. This is our car insurance for our 2 vehicles, and I thought that this was going to be higher this month, but it was actually lower. I'm not exactly sure why, honestly, but it was at $94.69 that we paid this month for car insurance. Next we have is life insurance. We have a policy on myself and my husband Jacob as a term life insurance policy, and that is $52.89 as a standard. And next we have is groceries. This is a line item that has been a bit crazy in the last year, and I feel like it's been extra crazy for us and for a lot of people in recent months, as we've seen super high inflation. Inflation's now hit 7% over the years. So if you've noticed that your grocery budget has gone up, you're not the only one. So we budgeted $450. We spent $493.21 on groceries. I've been playing around with either like a $450 or $500 grocery budget, which is crazy because last year around this time it was like $400 or less. So I feel like it's definitely gone up in price. But one thing that we are allowing ourselves to do more in this grocery budget is to eat better foods. So we actually started subscribing to HelloFresh, and we're doing their meal kit delivery service every week. We do like 3 meals a week with HelloFresh, and I've really enjoyed it. I'm doing a whole video coming up soon about like the pros to HelloFresh and how to like save money on it, because I was always totally against it, never thought I'd do it because it was silly that I could go get all of those things at the store. I could just make it at home, but I never actually did that. So I feel like I'm learning how to cook. We're having better, healthier meals. And also, as the cost of groceries have gone up so much, I feel like HelloFresh isn't that much more in comparison. So I have a whole video coming up, so spoiler. But that being said, this is also included in our grocery budget is HelloFresh that we do. And we just do like the 3 meal plan a week. And really like that. I actually have a referral code. I'll leave that below where you can get $120 off HelloFresh if you want to check it out. As a referral, I get $10 and you get $120, so definitely a better deal for you. But we've actually really enjoyed it, and I'm surprised that we do, because I was against it for so many years and never tried it because I thought that it was a waste of money. But I now don't think that. So that's why I have tried it out for a few weeks before sharing it with you guys, because I wanted to make sure it was something that I actually enjoyed. But anyway, so that was a little bit higher than we anticipated. Next we have is eating out. And this was one that I was so shocked when we did. We spent $207.64. We were over by $57 on eating out. And I was surprised because I feel like we didn't do very much eating out. And then when I took a look at our like actual spending, all of our line items that we've had this month, we've had a bunch of like little things that have all added up, and that's where it gets so sneaky with your spending, because I was like, oh, we just went to like Chick-fil-A and we went to, you know, Burgerville, or like smaller places. Like it wasn't like we went to fancy sit down dinners. Actually, we haven't gone to any this month, but it was just all these little things that added up, and I was shocked. And so that's a great reminder that the little things do add up, and you may not think so. Like I thought we were going to be way under on eating out this month, but turns out we just did a bunch of little things. Next we have is gas. This is another one that's killing us, and I need to adjust this budget amount as well, maybe up to more like $150 a month, because we spent $144.20 on gas, and it's definitely up from what we used to spend. Next we have is fun. The good news is we didn't do anything fun this month. So we didn't spend any money on fun. So next we have is miscellaneous. We budgeted $100 and we spent $148.77. So that was over by $48. What are you gonna do? Next we have, is the Roth IRA. And I just have this in here because this is a new goal that we have for 2022. We want to fund our 2022 Roth IRAs. We can do $6,000 for each Roth, so that is $12,000 total. So we want to be able to max out those Roth IRAs this year. So this month we didn't get to put anything to that, but hopefully next month in February we'll be able to start funding that. And that is just the next like financial goal that we have that we're wanting to work on. Another line item that you don't see here that someone pointed out is daycare. We used to have a daycare line item here for my son Peter. He goes to school 2 days a week. It's been so good for him. He's really enjoyed it. Like, it's been perfect for us. But I used to have it as a line item. He started in November, December time. But now that we are into this new year, we actually have a dependent care FSA through my husband's employer. So we are just taking money out of that to be able to pay his tuition for his school. So that's why you don't see the daycare line item anymore, is because of it coming straight out of my husband's paycheck. So it's just lessening the amount of his take-home pay because of the dependent care FSA. That makes sense. So next we have is Peter. We put $50 a month into Peter's brokerage account. Well, it's a brokerage account that we have in our names, but the plan is that we will gift it to Peter at some point later on in his life. We'd love to be able to help him with things like his first car or down payment on a house or a wedding. And so we've been saving and investing those dollars, and hopefully by the time that those things come around, like we'll have money there that we would be able to gift him. Next we have is college. We are putting $200 a month away in Peter's 529 for his college savings. So as a grand total, we spent $5,009.33 on just expenses, money that went out of our bank account this month. And that was $98.41 over what we had planned. So definitely over, but not terribly over. I'm shocked. Okay, now let's move into the savings section of the budget, or the sinking fund section of the budget. So first off, we have is our emergency fund, and this was a big thing that we are working on right now. We are trying to get our emergency fund back up to $15,000. So we had budgeted $365 to put into it, and this is where every extra penny has been going right now. And so right now we are able to put $41.97 to the emergency fund. So that kind of felt defeating because obviously, I mean, it was progress, right? But it wasn't what we had budgeted for, wasn't what we were planning to put to it. And yeah, we didn't put as much to it that we wanted. But we are now at $13,161.69. So I'm hoping that by February, we have a higher income month in February. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to fund the rest of the emergency fund, and then we can move on to doing the Roth IRA. Okay, next we have is personal money. Jacob gets $250 a month and I get $100. And the reason why that's different is just because Jacob's more of a spender and he has things that he'd like to spend money on, whereas I just don't. And I'd honestly just rather have more money go towards our financial goals. So Jacob spent $157 this month. I spent $25.60. So our ending balances are $235 and $185. Next we have is extra giving. We put $50 a month into an extra giving fund, which allows us to say yes to additional giving opportunities if they come up. And this month we spent $122.14, so we now have $7.81 in that fund. Then we have gifts. We put $50 a month into a gifts fund for things like people's birthdays or holidays or baby showers, things like that. And we spent $105.65, so we're now at $130.62. Then we had clothing. We budgeted $50 a month in clothing, but we actually ended up putting $150 into it because we spent a little bit more out of clothing. Jacob had to get a couple new pairs of jeans, so that ended up costing us a bit. So $211.22 is what we spent this month in clothing. So I just increased the actual amount that went in so that this fund wouldn't be super negative. So now it's at $466. Next we have is vacation. We put $150 a month into vacation, and we actually have a couple things coming up. We spent $524 out of our vacation fund, and we are going on a couple trips before this baby is due in a couple months here. So we're looking forward to that. So I actually bought flights for this other trip that we're going on. So we spent $524 on that. So we now have $1,221 in our vacation fund. Then we have Christmas. We're putting $100 a month into Christmas. So that's now at $100 at the start of January. Then we have medical. So we are planning to hit our max out of pocket this year for our insurance plan because I'm having a baby, labor and delivery, all those things. And we are on the high deductible health plan, which means that we also have an HSA. And I love the HSA because it has the potential for a triple tax advantage. You can put money in tax-free. You can then invest those dollars. It can grow tax-free, and you can use that money to be spent on qualified medical expenses tax-free. So we want to be able to utilize the full triple tax advantage of the HSA, and we would rather invest the dollars in the HSA and let it grow and let it sit there and not touch it and pay for medical expenses out of pocket. So that's what we're planning to do this year. Our max out of pocket for the family is $6,000, so that we know that we won't spend more than $6,000 this year on anything medical related. So that being said, I'm due in June, so I anticipate that we'll have all of these medical expenses accruing between now through June and even July. I'll probably get like the final hospital bill, if not August. So we'd like to have all of these expenses covered by like July. So I just took that amount for the $6,000 and divided it by how many months we have, and then saved that amount each month. So we're saving $930 each month between now and into the summer so that we can have all of those expenses covered. So that being said, we're already bringing in some medical expenses. We paid $393.64 this month, so we're now at $554.79. I will say it's also really nice going into the year knowing we're just gonna hit the max out of pocket, so like it is what it is, and not having to like worry about it for the rest of the year, you know? Next we have is cord blood registry. We did cord blood banking with our son Peter through cord blood registry, and we really enjoyed the whole experience, and we have to pay an annual subscription for that, so I'm just saving money for that when that comes due. So we're now at $248. Next we have is dues and subs. So these are other dues and subscriptions we may have, like Costco membership or any other like membership renewal things that we have, Disney Plus, like all that. We don't have very many, but I'm now saving for it every month because they all seem to come due at the same time, and I don't like that. So $37.50 is what we have for dues and subs this month, so that's now at $37.50. Then we have car maintenance is $75 each month, and we spent $89.63, so we're now at negative $13.32. The way I work all of our sinking funds is I take the grand total of all of the funds and I keep that in one bank account, and then I just use my spreadsheet to know how much is in each fund. I know that some people will have a special bank account for each sinking fund, and that's totally okay, but just not the way that I prefer to operate. So that's why if one of them is negative, I don't actually have a negative bank account balance. It just all nets out to be positive. Next we have is house maintenance, and I have this budgeted at $400 we put in there each month. We actually spent $725.70 on house maintenance related things this month, which was kind of a lot, and we now have $639.50 in there. Next we have is household, and we're putting $100 a month into household to cover things like paper towels, toilet paper, detergent, all of those kinds of things. We spent $36.22, so we now have $64.82. Next we have is baby. So we were initially planning to put $100 in there, but we actually put $200 because Costco ended up having a diaper sale, and so we stocked up on diapers, and we spent more than what we were planning to spend this month because of that. So we spent $226.54. This is all on things related to our son Peter, and so I guess he's a toddler, he's not a baby. But this fund is now also negative $19.44. Next we have is baby number 2. So there are some expenses that we will need to cover for our second baby outside of medical costs, and since I am having another boy, there's very few things that we need, but I have a list of all the things that I plan to buy for baby. I actually did a whole video about that. I'll leave a link to that up above. And so I've just figured out how much we plan to spend on all of these things for baby, and then dividing it by how many months we have until his arrival and saving that each month. So we are planning to save $285 each month for baby related expenses for the second baby. So this month I actually did a lot of shopping for this baby, all things that I had planned and things that went on sale, and so I bought them when I saw that they were on sale. So I actually spent $362.15, and so it's actually now negative $77.15. So again, that's another negative fund that I don't love, but next month it's going to be replenished, and these were all things that I was planning to buy and was factored into that cost of how much we'd be spending on baby. So I'm not concerned about that because it was all planned, and I'm also getting all these things on sale. So at the end of the day, we added $2,950.47 into our savings or sinking funds. And so the total of the expenses and savings, because we don't have any debt besides our mortgage, is $7,959.80. And this cell here calculates the difference, which should be zero, between your income and all the money out. So we have our zero-based budget, every dollar got assigned, and that was how our month went for January. I feel like it was a pretty just like mediocre, normal month, which I'll take. We were a little bit over on some things, but not as overly crazy as it could have been. But I also want to show you guys our net worth update, because this is another exciting thing that we like to track now. So your net worth is made up of your assets minus your liabilities, or the things that you own minus the things that you owe. So first we'll take a look at all of our assets. We put $512 into retirement this month, and man, it was a rough month for the stock market, as you may have seen. I am not one to check my accounts every day, and also I'm not worried about it though, because I'm not playing for like the short term, like I'm playing for the long-term retirement. Like we have a long time to go till retirement. So this month we ended up having a decrease of $108,644 in our retirement account balance. And so we now have $108,864 in retirement. Again, I'm not worried about it. We're still planning to put more money into our retirement as we normally would, and knowing that we have a lot of time on our side there. Next we have is our house. So I'm just taking our house value based off of what Zillow says our house is. I know that's not the most accurate way to know your house value, but it's something. And also we did a refinance last year, and the value that they came back with was within like a couple thousand of what Zillow said. So I'm just going off of that. So 564 is what Zillow says our house is now, which went up $10,000. And we have our emergency fund there, as well as other cash that we have as our sinking funds. And then we have an HSA, which is new for this month. So we have $608.35 right now in our HSA account. And then we have Robinhood. I have some single stocks through Robinhood. I will have a link to them down below if you want to check them out, where you can get a free stock with my link. And this obviously is not our main investing strategy. I don't have that much in it, but I think it's just cool to own some single stocks and see more of how that works. So it's $1,733 this month. I lost $204. Well, I didn't lose it because I haven't pulled it out yet, you know. Okay, so next we have is our car values. So this is based off of Kelley Blue Book. Our 2018 Highlander is now at $37,503. So that went down over $500. And then our 2013 RAV4, we're obviously very Toyota loyal here, is at $18,265. So the grand total of all of our assets, all the things that we own, is $747,456. And the only thing that we owe money on is our mortgage. And that is now at $384,167. So our net worth, so the difference between the two, is $363,289. And this month it just went up $1,800. Between the large increase that we've had with our house value, less the decrease in retirement and every other asset that we've had on the list this month. That wasn't so great. So our percentage for growth was only 0.5%, but I am encouraged that it still did go up. So that's good. And again, we're playing the long game. I'm not concerned about that. The next thing that I just have here is for my own sake to know like how much equity we have in our home. I was especially paying attention to this as we were dropping PMI last year. We had to have 20% equity. So we have $179,000 in house equity, which is about 32%. So I also have some additional footnote assets that I'll share as well. So these are footnote assets because they are not technically mine for a long time. And so I don't want to be planning for that. So the first thing that we have here is our taxes. Tax time is coming up. We've been saving money every month for taxes. We now have $27,200 in our tax account. I plan to give most of that to the IRS. We'll see. I just want to get our taxes filed and see how much we are going to owe. But this money is not going to be mine. I don't want to count it as my asset because in a couple months it's going to be gone and then I'd see a huge dip. So I just don't even want to calculate that. The next thing that we have here is the brokerage account that we have for our son Peter. Again, it's in our name, so it is ours, but the point of it is that we'll gift it to him someday. So it's now at $39.47, so that lost $350. And then we have Peter's 529, and that is now at $4,920.53. Obviously that's not ours either because that's going to go to Peter. So in our total footnote assets, additional things that we have that's not being counted in our net worth is $36,000 of things. So that is our overall budget update and net worth update for January. And I know that the market was not super great this month, but we still saw a little bit of an increase in our net worth, which I always like to see. And we just made it through the month. I feel like that is a success in January. So if you made it through January, high five. Like that, it was a month. It was a month, I feel like, in many ways, but we did it, you guys. So thanks so much for hanging out. Don't forget to check out this budget template and also my budget breakdown course. I will leave a link to those in the description box below, and you can check them out there, and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any new videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.